Okay, howdy everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Debauchery Circus campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. As always, we are live streaming our sessions on twitch.tv first, and then we'll be uploading the episodes to YouTube and podcast 1 week later. If you enjoy what you see here, feel free to follow us here on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can check us out on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV or on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody. And yeah, Anubis, I did notice that the moment I started talking, so I got that fixed. Thank you for letting me know. Anyway, so when we last left off, tragedy had befallen the Debauchery Circus. The group had descended down into the sewers beneath Northamia in search of a special herb needed for a ritual to help Finn discern the name of his infernal patron. Over the course of their investigation, many of the circus found themselves injured by a misplaced fireball spell from Finn, and was forced to attempt a rest in the filthy sewers near a goblin camp. Tergot decided to scout ahead, but he unfortunately awakened a pair of black puddings that swarmed the tabaxi as he tried to extricate himself from the maze of pipes. Ormr and Finn rushed to Tergot's aid, but once the oozes were defeated, the pair found their ranger companion had fled further down into the tunnels. Leaving the sleeping Fantine where she rested, Ormr and Finn tried to pursue their traveling partner, but as they pushed their way through the pipes, they managed to break one of them, releasing a cloud of gas that burned both Finn and Ormr severely. With Fantine's help, Ormr managed to survive, but the gas proved too much for the injured Finn, and he quickly succumbed to his wounds. While this was happening, Tergot continued to scout ahead, and unfortunately was caught by a particularly observant roper, who snatched up and attempted to devour the tabaxi. Fantine tried her best to come to her companion's aid, but in the end the warlock arrived too late, and Tergot breathed his last breath as well. And so, Fantine and Ormr, the pair of you wept openly at the loss of your two companions. Neither of you had any idea how long you knelt there in the sewer, agonizing over the events of the evening. Eventually, one of you got the other to her feet, though neither of you are quite sure which helped which. And together, you gathered up the bodies of your fallen friends and made your way out of the sewer. I have no doubt that there was a sense of defeat in both of you, as the two of you climbed up out of the sewer and onto the streets of Northamia. The sun is just starting to peek up over the horizon, and the streets are virtually empty as you race towards the nearest church, carrying the bodies of your friends in your arms. Eventually, you are brought before a cleric of the five, and after explaining what happened to your friends, you allow the clerics to try and revive them. Spells are cast while you wait, and I'm sure that you are given more than a few stares, considering how bad you smell right now. But when the cleric returns to you, you are saddened once again when you learn that the souls of your friends would not be able to return to their bodies. It's a sad and weary business, but you both spend the day arranging the funeral of your two friends, pausing only to clean yourselves up before you make your final farewells. Both Finn and Tergot had specific instructions for their deaths, and your friends also had the money to cover it. You spent the rest of the day mourning your loss, only returning to the inn shortly before the city's curfew. When you return to the inn, the innkeeper delivers a message to you from the king. The note requests your presence the following afternoon to discuss the task your group would be assigned after the events of the castle. I imagine that the two of you probably shared a room that night, morning still, and I doubt either of you got much sleep. But eventually you do drift off for the night. But that's the thing about having a good cry and time to mourn. Once you do, the healing process can begin. And so you waken the next morning. Tired, no doubt, with a bit of puffy eyes, but rested and refreshed. You meet the king at the appointed time, who immediately questions the fact that there are only two of you before him. What do you tell him what happened, and how truthful are you when you meet the king?
So I'm guessing we would have had some time to talk about this. So can me and Ormr talk about it for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. What do you think? I don't want to get yelled at for being out past curfew. So can they have died in the daylight?
I mean, I feel like it'd be kind of hard to lie about that.
Think so? We went in the sewers during the daytime.
Oh, fair. I mean, I think a truthful but not 100% truthful. Leave out, some select details.
Yeah, I would say something like, well, we're magic users and somebody wanted a spell component. So we went down into the sewers in the morning and you've got a lot of stuff just hanging out down there. A lot of very dangerous things just right under the city. That's a problem. And our friends were killed, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Matt, are you there?
Can't hear you, Matt.
Oh, sorry about that. Couldn't hear me. Where was I? Oh, the king says that he does know about what's going on in the sewers. He tells you, well, while we do send patrols regularly down into the sewer, things always tend to slip through. The dark places is where the most dangerous like to congregate, and it's impossible to clear everything out. This is why we always recommend our citizens do not go into the sewers, and why we send armed patrols down regularly to sweep, but it's never perfect. And things do happen, as you yourselves can attest to.
Yes, our friends were victims to this imperfectness.
The king doesn't admonish you so much for his actions, but he does definitely tell you that these things do happen when people traverse the areas not meant for the public. You can hear it in his voice that he acknowledges your grief, and he's trying to remain as delicate as he can. The king tells you that due to this new development, he is going to delay your task for another 2 days. You are to return to the inn and use that time to finish your grieving and tie up any loose ends you might have. It informs you that he's going to be assigning 3 more to your party to assist you in the mission. The 3 will meet you at the inn and give you the details after your period of mourning is complete. Once you are prepared, you will be teleported by the Arcanum to a point closer to the village to cut down on your travel time. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask the king or his ministers while you're there with him. 3.
Okay.
Hellhound, Anubis, how is everybody's audio right now? Can you hear us okay?
Did he tell us what the task is?
He hasn't, but you can certainly ask him.
If you've got the details, I assume that you do. I'm curious to know what our task is going to entail.
The king tells you that the mayor of Greenridge, which is a small fish farming village near the Greenridge Mountains, have requested aid from the capital. For the past few months, someone has been stealing the local livestock from the farms surrounding the village, and the local militia has been unable to find the culprits. The mayor offers a substantial reward, considering the size of the village, for the capture of the thieves and the returning of whatever livestock you can recover.
Is that a reward that we would be entitled to?
It is. For completing the task, you must report back to the mayor, who will gladly, no doubt, offer the reward that he is offering.
Okay.
When the task is complete, we expect you to return to North Amia to give us a report of your findings, after which you shall be free from my service.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Hey, Fantine, let me ask you a question. Do you use a microphone that's adjustable?
I believe so.
Can you move it a little bit closer to your mouth? The audience have said that you kind of come in and out. Sometimes you go low, and other times you go high.
Okay.
Just try to project a little bit, if you can.
All right, but my accent will get worse.
Wait,
Yeah.
We have an audience?
We do have an audience. Go ahead and say hi to Anesthetic, Hellhound, and Anubis.
Hello. Also, my friend Zoe, while she was here, she watched it, and the only one that she could hear was you.
Yeah. I've since then adjusted the audio. They're saying they can hear for the most part, but you, Fantine, you kind of like start talking lower a little bit, and then you go up again.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to adjust you guys a little bit louder. Hellhound says you sound good now.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably just me leaning back in my chair.
Yeah, it does happen. I get it. The best part about having an audience is that that they can tell us how we sound. Looks like Jedi Slayer's here. Hey, Goose, what's up, buddy? Okay, so anyway, do you guys have any other questions for the king?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, then you are dismissed, and you are able to return to the inn. You have 2 days to complete any tasks you guys want to do within the city. If there's nothing you guys want to do, we can just move forward and get past that. So, Fantine and Ormr, do you have anything you want to do during those 2 days?
We had just done so much.
All in favor of skipping the poem? Thank you.
Question, is all the stuff because I know we had magic items that we got from our fallen comrades. Is that stuff in the circus journal, or should we put that on our character sheets? Or I guess did we divvy that out?
I thought you guys had divvied. So the items that you guys had said are the party items you guys have. They're in the haversack, which is considered a party item. If there's something that you guys wanted to take as a memento, I told you guys to kind of figure that out during the week. So I don't know if there's anything you guys were wanting. Now, Cameron, had you switched around in the circus journal everything that's in there?
As far as I know. What do you mean specifically?
I'm just wondering if you had edited since Finn had died.
This is everything that's in there is, as far as I know, still in there.
Okay.
Okay.
So the circus journal is what you guys have to in the haversack.
Okay. Get rid of this animate dead scroll. No, I'm kidding. I actually didn't use that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't think of anything that I have done in the meantime. Just because we did all our shopping and whatnot beforehand. So.
Yeah. This is more just time if you guys wanted to do any role play or just accomplish any tasks before meeting up with the agents the king is sending. That's basically all. If you have nothing, that's totally fine too. You could have just spent that time mourning and recovering from your time in the sewers.
I spent that time drinking at the bar.
That's fair. Ormr, do you have anything that you wanted to do, or you just kind of drink and mourn?
Probably just drink and mourn.
Okay, that's fair. Well, your 2 days pass, and together, Fantine and Ormr, you eventually wake up on the morning of the 24th. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys to that right now. And there you are. You head downstairs to have your breakfast and settle in to wait for whoever it is the king is sending to find you. As you take seats in the inn, kind of begin munching on your meal, the doors open, and 2 individuals step inside. Blasnir, would you like to go ahead and describe yourself?
I will do my best. Where do I start? So, before you see, a taller, lightly tanned man. He wears a long brown trench coat, and embroidered in it up through the entire trench coat are these like golden leaf-like decorations. You can see underneath that he's wearing very druidic leather armor and dull red pants. He has 2 white gloves over his hands and a pelt around his neck that at the end where the animal's tail will be is red and black striped, and he's also strapped to his back is a scimitar and a windshield. His hair slicked back, very well groomed, and orange. And he kind of walks in with this kind of a boisterous walk, just like, he knows this place very well. And is ready to do whatever he needs to.
Okay, I like it. Next up, Cameron. Why don't you go ahead?
1 second.
Okay.
I just got a phone call coming in.
Gotcha.
I idly push my food around on my plate with the fork.
I'm sure you do. The second individual you see is a rabbit folk in a coat as well, with a hummingbird next to it, zipping around his head. I'll let Stephen describe his character when he gets back. But these two of when they enter and kind of look around, the 2 of them do see you and walk over to your table.
Hey, what's with this? Oh, that's not his voice at all. Oh, Christ. Oh.
Okay, we'll give you a couple of tries.
Oh. Sorry, I was practicing. I did a practice with this, and
Yeah, take your time.
I walk over to the bar and slump over because I can't do this.
So you see this this tall man in a brown coat walk in the door and just lose his mind and just start giggling uncontrollably and have to go walk over to the bar to steady himself.
It's good. You should probably keep away from us. No bad omens.
I completely lost it. I can't. Oh my god.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. I did my funny voice.
You did like boisterous Tergot.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of voices just randomly.
Are you ready to try again?
Oh no.
Well, then I'm just going to skip ahead and I'll come back to you.
Please, I start playing a lute or something.
He's weird.
So,
Tergot. I start trying again.
the door to the inn opens once more, and you all see a short, young-looking human enter the room. Fantine and Ormr, the two of you recognize this young man almost immediately. He looks a little different than the last time you saw him. His hair was shaggy, and he was very, very thin from that long imprisonment and training by the orcs. But now you see a young man who has filled out a bit in the span of about a week or so that you haven't seen him. He pulls the hood up of his cloak back over his head, and you can see that his hair has been cut and styled a little bit and swept back. Has a little bit of a pin on the collar of his coat, which is very nice. Underneath that, you can see armor that you all recognize because you had bought him some armor. He also has a longbow strung over his back and a short sword at his hip, as well as a traveling pack slung over his back as well. He looks up and sees you both, and he smiles, and he hurries over to the table as well, and he says, Fantine, Ormr. Forgive me for being late. It's good to see you again, even in these unfortunate circumstances.
Edmund, I'm so sorry. I tried to bring Tergot back to life.
And Fantine once again just breaks down.
Yeah, I put my hand on his shoulder and then I pull him into a really tight hug.
And he, yeah, and he does hug you. It's a little awkward because he's not quite 14. He's just barely an adult in these circumstances. And so he's shorter than you too, especially with you and your witchy heels and everything. But so he's kind of awkwardly patting your back as you cry, and he just sees the rabbit folk and the new human just staring there awkwardly as he's doing this. But you can tell he's changed a little bit and seems a bit more mature as he pats your back and there, Fantine. I wish I could have been there with you. I wish I could have helped you all. I'm so very sorry for what happened to Finn and Tergot. I'll miss them terribly.
Me too.
And you kind of share this moment,
I've only known them for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a long 2 weeks.
It was a really long 2 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks, really.
I mean, 3 weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys have known each other for about a month now.
I'm gonna be okay. I just need a second.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had a call from my doctor's office.
No worries. It's only, D&D and streaming and all that. Go ahead and introduce Cameron for us.
Right. So Cameron walks in, and the first thing that you can tell about him is that he is very small. He's about 3 feet tall and doesn't weigh much. He's got a dark steel gray fur. He wears a very nice blue jacket that has all sorts of embroiderments and things on him. He has a small, bright teal little hummingbird flitting about, sometimes occasionally landing on his shoulder, but just moving around quickly as hummingbirds are wont to do. And you will notice that he has a pocket watch in one of his hands that he pulls out and looks at when he walks in. And he just seems to walk around in a very sort of like jittery manner. Someone who's perhaps had too much coffee or too much of something else.
Or is late for a very important date.
Perhaps.
Hey, Cameron, was it, what time is it? Are we late? I feel like we're late.
Well, that depends.
I got the voice, guys.
Got it.
I'm not entirely certain which version of events we're in, but
Well, it's this one, right here. I don't understand you. We've known each other for like how long? Like an hour? You're very weird.
yes, well, the flow of time isn't exactly what one would consider normal most of the time, so you do have to keep that into consideration.
Uh, I might not actually. Funny thing. Anyway, I think those are the people we're supposed to be helping with quest.
I lean over
Yes.
to Edmund and I say, "Who are these people?"
We're the replacements. I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way, and I know that we will never replace whoever your friends were. But nice to meet you. I'm Blazenier.
It's nice to meet you. I hold out my hand.
I shake it gently, but
Very soft handshake. Thank you.
yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I
it is
notice
kind
you're
of
upset, and sometimes I like to.
basically the White Rabbit Hellhound, pretty
Soft
much.
handshakes are better for this situation.
I appreciate it, but I promise I'll be fine. We have a job to do, right?
Indeed, we do. Thank you, Fantine. And he kind of pats your leg a little bit.
You're really short.
So I mean, comparatively, he's probably about 4'7", 4'8". So he's taller.
Whoa!
He's taller than Cameron, but
You said he's 13.
yeah, that's about right for 13, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Maybe.
yeah. I'm thinking of, like the size of my youngest son, and he's around 4.5 feet.
Wow. I don't know anything
So
about children.
yeah, so I think he's definitely under 5 foot to begin with. So he's quite a bit shorter than you, Fantine.
Mhm.
Now, Cameron, you're technically considered small, aren't you?
I am in fact small-sized, yes.
Yeah. So so even Edmund towers over you.
Yes, and I don't weigh very much either, so I am both short and light.
Edmund, you see Edmund, 13-year-old, not quite 14. Hellhound just said that his son is over 5 foot tall at 13. So I guess it really just depends.
Yeah.
I know Miles is on the shorter side, but he is still within the range.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, Edmund's not quite 5 foot tall.
It's the era of the growth spurt, so
Mhm.
some of them are huge and some of them are tiny.
Exactly. But anyway, I digress. So Edmund climbs up on a stool and sits down, and he motions for everybody else to come over and join him. And he pulls out a roll of parchment out of his cloak.
Cameron will look over at Fantine, and he will not extend a hand, but he will say, yes, I am Cameron Hawthorne, a PhD candidate of the Arcane Institute, and this fine fellow is Fidget.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Cameron, Fidget, and Blazenier. I'm sure we'll get along well.
I certainly hope so. I don't like knocking along with people.
I think it will be fine as long as this is not the possible future in which you have already found your vampire beau to be and been turned by him.
Have you been watching my dreams?
I'm confused, Cameron. What do you mean?
Oh, I am a candidate of the study of chronergy, the study of time, and it has gifted me with vision to see possible futures that may or may not come to pass.
That sounds very complicated.
Yes,
I have
complicated and frightening.
I have a question, Cameron. What am I about to do right now?
Well, that depends. I'm
Just
not
make a list. Make a list.
There are 53 ways in which you do something embarrassing. and another about 20 where you say something that no one else understands at this table.
Oh, no, I'm just gonna turn. I was just gonna turn into a snake.
Well, that is embarrassing.
and, and then suddenly Cameron shrinks down, or Blasnir shrinks down, and there's a snake sitting on his stool.
I don't understand.
He did both. How many possibilities were there?
I have to admit that this definitely feels like the old days. Huh. Well,
And I can stay in here for 3 hours, so that's what I'm gonna do.
you're a snake, so you can't
Yeah,
say
I also
anything.
think you can't talk.
Yeah, you
Oh
cannot.
no, I'm just saying that out of character.
Fair enough.
Are
Ormr,
you a water snake by chance? Because if you are, I can
Lace
speak
me around
Aquan.
my neck.
well, he may be able to understand you because he can understand common in his snake form. He just can't speak it. His mouth doesn't make those types of sounds.
Does it make Aquan
No,
No.
no,
words?
no. A snake
Making
can't
sure
speak
that
at all.
Fidget is not near the snake.
And comes zipping around you and kind of does a few circuits around your head.
Yeah.
Ormr, it is good to see you as well. I hope you're feeling a bit better. I heard you were injured rather severely.
I have recovered. I will live on to see another day.
I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, the king gave me this parchment explaining the details of our mission. So if you don't mind, and he sits back once again and pushes the piece of parchment onto the table. For those who don't know me, Blasnir Cameron, my name is Edmund Coltrast. I am the son and heir of Lord Coltrast, but I'm also a friend of the Debauchery Circus here, so that's why I'm here. If you don't mind my asking, why are the two of you indentured to the king?
My
That's so cute.
master has gone missing as of late, and the king proffered his assistance in my attempts to find him should I assist him in this endeavor.
Bless your sense.
And what happened to your master, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm not entirely certain. The studies in which we partake are quite delicate, and it could have been any number of things, but he is vanished.
Is that something that happens often at the Wizards College? I know a bit of magic, but not much.
Not usually, unless, of course, someone is puttering about in the field of teleportation, in which case they could occasionally end up just about anywhere.
Well, that doesn't bode well for our future, because we have to go teleport. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Yes. Anyway, well, as I'm sure you all know, we are ordered to the village of Greenridge to attempt to figure out what happened, where all the missing livestock are. Has anybody been to Greenridge before?
Matt, have I been to Greenridge before? I don't think so.
You have not, Fantine, and Ormr has not. Blasnir Cameron, possibly. Make a history check.
Sure. That's one of the things I do best. 18.
So, Cameron, you definitely have at least heard of Greenridge. It is a village to the south of North Amia, which I'm going to go ahead and throw you guys up a map. There you go. So, if you look to the southwest, you can see Greenridge there, but between a few hilly region and near a forest. Can you see it there?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what you know about it, Cameron, is when Greenridge was first formed, it was a mining town. It was created by a group of dwarves, and it kind of grew from there. The Greenridge Mountains are called mountains, but they're really not. They're more like really steep hills. Think like the hills in Italy, and you kind of get an idea. Lots of rolling hills, but very small, very rocky. And you know that for a good 150 years, they were mined heavily by the dwarves uh, of Radagast, who were digging up mostly gems and things of that nature. A little bit of ore, but not a lot. Mostly gems. In the last 50 years or so, it has the mines have dried up. There's very little mining activity that's still going, and the village itself has suffered quite a bit. It's no longer a mining town. It's mostly the area to the south of Green Ridge is very open fields, and so it's mostly used for farmland and for the raising of livestock. You would also know that that is where a large amount of the livestock sold here in North Amia for meat it comes from. They raise cattle, they raise sheep and goats there, and a little bit of pig, but not nearly as much. Mostly the other three. So if livestock are being taken from this area, it's hurting North Amia probably a lot more than the king is letting on.
Well, the Greenwood was originally a mining town that was inhabited by the dwarves. They tended to mine for gems rather exclusively, but these days it is mostly used for the life's blood of North Amia as they raise livestock that are used here. If
I'm
they are going missing, then it is probably a bigger issue than they care to mention.
I'm back to being a human, by the way.
Whoa!
Yeah, something I can do. It's pretty neat. Anyway, yeah, no, I've never been to Greenridge with it. This is not my voice either, but
Well, whenever they say cattle has gone missing, my first inkling is always beings from another world. Have you seen that play?
No, but why would your first inkling not be wolves?
it
Because
could
I
be
have a
wolves.
fantastical imagination, my friend.
What sort of otherworldly beings and what plays are you speaking of? I've never seen a play before.
Well, you see those beings and they've got like green skin and really big eyes and really big heads because they're very smart and they come from outer space and they suck up cows.
Oh,
Oh.
I've heard of those. Aren't those called the Gith?
Yes, exactly. The
I
Gith.
believe the
They
Gith
love
have
cows.
gray skin
Well, sometimes it's gray and sometimes
and
it's green. In the play I
come
saw,
from
it was green.
the ethereal plane.
Not sure about that fact.
Say that again.
He said they come from the ethereal plane.
Well, that's some. When you say this, Edmund kind of looks over at. What do you mean, Master Wizard?
I assumed when she said Gith that she was referring to the Githyanki and Githzerai. They are a pair of powerful races, well versed in the mental arts. One are more warlike, and the other are more scholarly and inner seeking, monk like, holistic.
Something else you would know about them, Cameron, just based on your time in the Arcane College, is while the Gith have been spoken of in legend as and lore as though they are real, you would also know that they have never been there's never been an accurate report suggesting that they're here.
Mm.
That
Though,
every time they're written about, it's more myth and legend than viewed as fact. Like think ghost
Bigfoot.
hunters a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Though I do suppose that no one has ever actually managed to make an accurate report of them. They remained more myth and legend than anything.
And I saw one of these myths put into play form, and it was very entertaining.
I'm gonna have to watch that one eventually. I love plays. They're great.
Me too.
Was it like a musical? Did they have singing as well?
Oh boy, I hope so.
Y'all really want me to elaborate on this joke? Yes, it was a musical. It's Alien the musical.
That sounds awesome. That sounds absolutely awesome. Aliens the musical.
Mhm.
Well,
To be honest, I was really drunk when I watched it. I don't remember the details.
well, it's canon now. There is a musical somewhere in Il Mythica about aliens. I love it.
Where they abduct cows.
Where they abduct
in the
cows.
classic fashion.
Yep, it's canon. That's what
If I
happened.
ever get my old trooper around, we might actually put that one on if we ever find a like we need.
Perhaps if we do something for what was the place with the library? Is it the Arcanum? No, it's the other one.
The Conclave, the Erudite
The
Conclave.
He said we would have use of his library, so I'm sure you could find the screenplay in there somewhere.
Oh, that would be.
Somebody write this down.
I'm already
gotta
writing it
deliver
down.
on
I
this.
have a journal out and writing it down.
We're gonna put on this play.
Absolutely, I can't wait to see it. Okay, so you all have a round of ale or whatever drinks you want ordered, and you begin sitting down and discussing what you guys have to do. You do know that Edmund tells you that you are to report to the Institute Arcanum, and you're going to be using their teleportation circle. Cameron, you would know that without a circle at the other end, teleportation's kind of hit or miss, and it does take a little bit of finesse to get there. So they're not going to be teleporting you directly to the city. They're teleporting you in that general direction, and hopefully you're close enough that it won't take you long to walk there.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have that knowledge about teleportation in general. It is possible to do it without a circle, but it's always a gamble.
Dangerous.
Yes.
Possibly deadly.
Yes. Your other option, if you guys don't want to take that, is travel, either by walking or by coach or.
I'll take the teleportation, please.
Yeah.
I mean, traveling could be fun, but I guess
No.
we might as well get it done as
I remember that
fast
time
as
that
possible.
our wagon wheel broke, and I'm like, no, it's okay. Teleportation, please.
So,
I'm gonna
what
roll
about
my
our question?
Yep. That actually, thank you, because I did forget about that. So, as you guys are all sitting there kind of thinking things through, because while you are going to be teleported there, you will have to get back to North Emia somehow, so you have that in mind. But as you guys are sitting there thinking about this, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, what would your character's theme song be? Fantine, since you rolled it, what's your theme song?
I actually looked through my Spotify playlist to find one. I'm gonna go with "I'm a Lady" by Santa Gold. So look that one up if you haven't heard it.
Yeah, type it out in chat for us so we can see it.
Okay.
We'll have to go on to YouTube and pull these up and put them into the Discord chat later so everybody can think about their theme song. Ormr, what's your theme song?
I think Ormr's theme song would probably be something. I don't know that she'd have it necessarily as theme song. I'm going by like favorite band or favorite genre. She would probably like things along the lines of like explosions in the sky or This Will Destroy You. That's another band. It's kind of
Well,
instrumental, meditative
we're
music.
putting together a playlist, so I want something that we can pull up on YouTube. So come on, you gotta give me a song.
Just pick a song by one of those.
Yeah, just pick a song by one of them.
Friday
Come
Night
back to
Lights
me. Let me
theme
look it
song.
up. I gotta
That's
remember
fine.
what the
Okay.
song was.
Cameron, how about you?
Well, I thought about this, and it would be really, really obvious to go with a time-based song. But I think his theme song would probably be Englishman in New York by Sting.
Interesting. What? You know what? I should have asked this to Fantine too, but what line in that song do you think really fits Cameron?
It's basically just that he like tries to conduct himself in a very like similar manner. Uh, I could very easily see him using a walking cane with one of his free hands, and he is just tries to be gentlemanly in all things that he does, despite the fact that he is a big, big, massive anxiety.
Okay, I dig it. Fantine, what about "I'm a Lady" by Santa Gold? What do you think?
I'll give you a line.
Okay.
I like to watch the way the wind blows. What does it know that I don't yet? Oh, look so pretty now. You're just so sweet, but see how far you can get.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Because she's very wanderlusty.
I like that.
Especially the lusty part.
Yeah, I'm wandery and I'm lusty. All of it.
Okay, I dig it. Ormr, did you find one yet? Or do you want me to come back to you?
Well, see, I didn't know we were doing like lines from those songs.
Well, it doesn't have to be. You can also just explain why that song fits with your character.
Well, I would say then like Your Hand in Mine by Explosions in the Sky would be one that she kind of would like meditate to and everything. It's very mellow and
good song.
Okay, yeah. I dig it. Yeah, type that in the chat. Leisner, how about you?
Yeah, I didn't realize we had to find a specific song. I was going off the genre of music. So I've been searching drastically. Because I was thinking some sort of a carnival music, something, just jolly and, but I don't listen to any that kind of music, so...
At least it's not smoke two joints.
Yeah, at least it's not that. Well, I'm going to give you Edmund, because Edmund's here with you guys. I was thinking about this, and the song that really fits him in my mind is Roll Away Your Stone by Mumford & Son.
Okay.
Just because poor kid's gone through a lot of shit, and there's a lot of stuff weighing him down. And so just him having to try to go and refill his father's footsteps. Anyway.
An honorable goal. Wait, I'm not this character.
Oh yeah, they're going to be best buddies later.
I'm going to adopt him. He's my son.
No.
Well, anyway, Lasnir, if you ever do think of anything, pop it up in the chat.
I kind of have something, I just don't know if it works entirely. But
What do you got?
Go for it.
My Life by Billy Joel.
Okay. Okay.
Good one.
I think I can see that one. Yeah, just pop that in the chat.
Had to dig real deep in my playlist for that one.
Yeah, good song, though.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So, anyway, as you guys are sitting there kind of thinking of songs and them running through your heads, you do have now a meeting to get to go teleport, but if there's anything else you want to accomplish before then, now's probably the time.
Ever onwards.
Go up to the bar and restock on a small supply of sugar.
How much sugar are you wanting to get? You could probably get anywhere up to a pound of it.
Okay, doesn't need to be a whole lot. I just would assume that Cameron would probably have a little, like, miniature water skin or vial or something so that he could mix up sugar water on the ready just in case for Fidget.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah. Say 2 copper, and that'll give you about a small sack of sugar.
Sure.
Easy enough. Yes.
So what's next?
Sorry, Brandie was trying to ask me something.
Okay.
Anyway, you gather up all your things and head towards the Institute Arcanum. There you go through the familiar bureaucracy. I'm not going to play it out, but you guys know how much of a pain in the butt it is to get anywhere. You have to go through guards, be checked over, you get questioned again at the front desk. Finally, eventually, you are led down to the basement to a small teleportation circle. You are met by a guard who is standing there, and once you get there, he says, "And you are? Names, please."
Cameron Hawthorne of the Institute Arcanum.
Blazenier is fine.
Fantine Ambrosia.
And I walk up and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Novo. Nice to meet you."
Edmund was opening his mouth to say his name, and then he stops. "What did you say, Ormr?"
Novo. I'm Novo.
I just adapt to it immediately.
I was told your name was Ormr.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you're new.
Ormr's no more. I'm Novo.
And how do you how do you spell that?
Perhaps this
I'm
is
sorry,
a possible future in which her body
that
was
would be
taken over.
Novo, and it means new. So, new party, new name.
Edmund kind of shakes his head and looks back at the guard and says, I apologize. I'm Edmund Coltrast. You are expecting us. Can we dispense with all of this, please?" And the guard finally rolls his eyes, pulls out a piece of parchment, scratches it off, opens the door, and there you see a wizard standing in front of a glowing circle etched into the floor. As you guys all walk up towards it, you look down and you can see that in the etch, it's literally etched into the stone. And in the center of the etching, there's a little line of gemstone that has been fused in there. You recognize this technique. You've seen it once before, Fantine, when you were in the prison. Well, that was anti-magic, but this is a teleportation circle. But you can what I'm having you recognize is the way that they do these is it's literally an etching in the stone with a magic gemstone put in there and fused into place so it can be reused over and over again. Very efficient process.
Study it.
Well, you can spend a minute and look over it as the wizard walks up to you and checks your names once more against his list, and he says, "Okay, so I'm going to have all of you stand in the circle at the same time and take hands. I will perform the incantation, and as you do, I need all of you to focus on Greenridge. Focus on Greenridge, please."
Can we get like a description of the town so we can kind of visualize it a bit more?
I'll give you a description of the town.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been there?
I'm imagining cows.
Okay. And so you all step into the circle, and you see the wizard pulling out a scroll from his robes and in the the sleeve, holds it out and begins looking it over. Looks up at you and kind of taps his foot, waiting.
I'll take Fantine's hand as I step into the circle.
And Edmund will take yours, Cameron.
I don't think, since the height difference, I don't think I can really take Edmund's hand very easily. So
What?
I'm a very tall man.
He puts his hand up. It's
You're
not.
Well, yeah, but it's a little. I'll just stand in right here.
Fidget will land on my shoulder to make sure that he is at least touching me.
And all of you take hands eventually and try not to make it awkward as you're standing there looking at each other. And each of you close your eyes and begin focusing. So what I'm going to need each of you to do is you're all going to make... I'm trying to think of what this is going to be. This is going to be a con check. But what you're doing is all of you are concentrating. So I need each of you to make a con check for me, please.
Oh, you said Greenidge, right? Greenidge?
You do have inspiration.
You do have inspiration, I will remind you.
I'm gonna use that inspiration.
As am I. That's better. I imagine like Harry Potter when he's saying diagonally instead of diagonally.
Yeah.
Diagonally.
Yeah. Smart move on using the inspiration. Make sure you take those off your sheet because the DC was 12. Just gonna say. All of you close your eyes and concentrate as hard as you can. The wizard begins muttering to himself, focusing on the spell. He says the last word, which you do hear, Cameron. And then all of you at once feel this yank as though a hook is in your navel and pulling you. And you're just being drawn and drawn. And it's weird. It's this odd sort of sensation of just being dragged through the ether. And suddenly you hit something and you all jerk into place. And your eyes go wide as you all fall down to your hands and knees. And you all kind of breathe out. You didn't even realize that you're holding your breath as this was happening. But as the vertigo finally begins to push away, you all look around. And you find yourselves kind of like this.
I'm quite happy that this was not one of the occurrences where your turtle friend accidentally tore herself in two.
I think this is the wrong map.
It's fine.
I've got to say, Cameron, I'm quite happy about that too. That
You-
would matter.
You all open your eyes and look around, and you find yourself in a grassy field. Yeah, actually, this is the campsite one, but it's fine.
Yeah, I was like, I see some lights.
Yeah. What you do see as you're looking around is a very wide open field, and in the far distance, a village. Not far, probably about 300, maybe 400 feet to the south of you. You all stand up and dust yourselves off a little bit and kind of take a deep breath and just be grateful that you hit close to where you're trying to be.
And is it daytime?
It is. It is
Okay.
daytime. You look up at the sky, and it's probably around 2 o'clock, maybe 2:30 at most. You left fairly early, and the bureaucracy of the day, it's kind of a pain, but it is in the middle of the afternoon.
All right. Well, I say let's onward to the village.
Give me a sec.
Oh, you don't look well.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of stomach acid came up. I didn't eat any breakfast, but okay, I'm good.
Yeah, we shouldn't have had those ales and no breakfast.
Well, that is breakfast though. Like,
I see. I make a mental note about Blazier's character.
hey, let's get on. I really like to see new towns. It's quite nice.
I agree. Let's go. Start walking.
Okay. So you begin heading south, and the village, as you approach, the first thing that pops up is the farms that are around the outskirts of the village. You spend maybe about an hour and a half walking, and the closer you get, you see a few more buildings popping up, and a few more. It's a small village. It's hard to guess, but you think maybe around 150, 250 people might live there, including as you're passing through these farms, or at least along between them. You do find a road that leads towards there, and make your way down, and you enter the village probably around 3:30ish in the afternoon.
I have a question, Matt.
Yes.
When it became more farm town and less mining, did the dwarves all leave?
You do know that there are some dwarves that still live there. The mining was done in the hills to the north of town, and you guys are kind of coming. I'll show you the map once more just to give you the idea. You guys kind of poofed out a little bit to the west, to the northwest of Green Ridge, and you found a road that led you around and into the village itself. The farmland is the area around to the west and to the south of Green Ridge. To the north there, where you see those hills, that's where the mining had been done. There is still dwarves living in this area. The area itself is kind of a mix of human and dwarf, with maybe a little bit of halfling and various other races, but it's mostly human and dwarf.
Okay.
As you all arrive into the center of town, you realize that it appears to be market day. As you enter the town, you can see the Green Ridge Mountains to the north, and as you're looking around, you can see townsfolk milling around, going about their daily routines. The market square is packed, and a merchant caravan has set up shop for the day. Despite this, there is an air of uneasy about the folks around you. You can see people passing by. Some people are milling about the merchant in the center of town, but a lot of them, the people that walk by, kind of give you uneasy looks and keep going without really speaking to you.
I was gonna say it would be a perfect day to put on a performance, but everyone seems to be a bit shaky. More than this fellow over here.
They don't seem to be in high spirits, that's for sure.
I mean, I could still put on a performance, but I probably need to do the whole thing.
Maybe it would lift their spirits. But first, let's get ourselves acquainted with the town so that they know we're not just weird strangers.
Oh, of course.
To solve their problem. I look around. I guess I see this guy here is he's a merchant, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's not going to walk away from me.
You do see that there is a merchant set up a little bit in the town square. It's a tabaxi in leather armor and very opulent robes over those. There are two human guards standing on either side of the cart, which has a bit of quite a bit of its stuff unloaded. You cannot see anything, Blazner. Let me fix that for you.
Give him vision. He has no eyes.
Lord of Thundara, grant him
There you
sight
go.
beyond sight.
You good now?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. The tabaxi merchant is over there. He's speaking with a pair of dwarves right now, which I didn't bother putting like all the townsfolk on the map. But there is a small group around the merchant cart looking at stuff, being eyed by the guards, but they don't really make any movements around them. They just seem to be observing everything that's going on. And the tabaxi, who's obviously the merchant, is talking to people and selling things. He has like pots and pans, a bit of fruit and vegetables, cloth, anything that you think would probably be sold to a farm village, he has.
I have a question. Is he saying anything interesting? Because I can read lips.
Right now, what he is saying is tabaxi has wares if you have coin.
Thank you.
I'm gonna walk up close to him and see what he has in the way of leafy green things.
So, you do see the dwarven couple purchase a pair of brass pots and a bolt of cloth and wander down somewhere to the south. And as you approach, the tabaxi looks up at you and says, "Yes, my furry friend, what can I do for you? I have not seen many of your kind before."
No, I was wondering what you had for sale of the leafy green variety.
I do have some cabbage on the back of my cart, some lettuces as well, bib we do have, and a little bit of, what's another lettuce that I can't think of right now? Romaine, why not?
Okay. I will buy a little bit if you can tell me how much.
What for a head of cabbage is 1 copper coin. The bib is a bit more at 3.
Okay, I'll hand him a copper and take some cabbage to start munching on.
And he hands you a small cabbage, and it is very fresh and very decent. Can I help anybody else?
I would like to say to him loudly enough for the whole crowd to hear, "Hello! We are an envoy from the king, come to help this town with its little problem. I know you're just a merchant here, but if you should know anyone of import that we should talk to."
The guards, perhaps.
Did you say you are from the king? Well, perhaps I could talk to you then.
Indeed. That's what we're here for. And anyone else, I look around the crowd.
And you do see there is a bit of a crowd walking up to you now. You see maybe about 5, 10, maybe 12 people milling about, and you do hear a little bit of talking, murmuring as you say this. The tabaxi, he says, "Well, my caravan was robbed a couple nights ago while I was camped in the mountain pass. Thieves managed to take I had a couple pigs that I brought to sell, and they had taken those away. I'm not sure how they got away carrying them. It's almost as if they're vanished into thin air."
Is there anything that you can remember about these thieves, such as what race they were and what they looked like?
Well, unfortunately, I did not see who took them. It was in the middle of the night. The guard on duty said he saw nothing as well, but that drunken bastard, I can never rely on him anymore. And he kind of spits over at one of the guard.
Which guard is it?
The one down here.
Oh. I see.
Not only that, but they took one of my boxes that I was bringing in, and there are quite a few rare books chronicling the region that I'm pretty upset about losing. And if you could find them, I'd be willing to pay for the return of my books. And the pigs, too, if you can manage it. But
Yes, we have heard that a lot of livestock were being taken, so this definitely falls into the wheelhouse of our investigation. And if we should recover these books, I will do my best to see that they return to you.
The moment you say that you're investigating here, everybody begins clamoring all at once and yelling. Hey, I've lost something too. I'm missing. And my livestock has been taken as well. And you're hearing this all over the place. And finally, you hear this big, loud bellow. Quiet now! Quiet! And you see a very large, round dwarf come waddling in, pushing past the crowd and into the center by you.
Oh, why, hello, sir. My name is Fantine Ambrosia. Investigating the livestock disappearances?
My name is Balin Bearclaw. I'm the mayor here. You say you've been sent by the king? Well, it's about damn time. I requested assistance almost a month ago.
Yes, we know much of the nature of bureaucracy.
Well, why don't you come this way and let these good people return to their work and their shopping. People, as you all heard, and now he's addressing the crowd. As you've all heard, representatives from the king have arrived, and they are going to find our missing livestock and bring it back. No worry. Everybody go back to your business. I will speak to them myself. And you still hear quite a bit of murmuring, and people are lingering more than probably the mayor would like, and you're still hearing, I'm missing 6 goats at least. I'm missing 12 pigs. Why? And there's arguments going on.
Write down everything you know, and we'll tell you where to deliver them once we have a place to stay. Thank you. Good people.
And as you're doing this, the mayor is basically pushing people away to try to get you guys to follow him. He's waving his hand and gesturing, and he leads you all down in this direction. What the heck?
Oh, hey, Mayor, sir, you kind of stretched out a bit.
I know, right? Okay? That's what I get for holding shift. Anyway, he leads you down over here to this house.
I was hoping... Hey, Tabaxi, real quick, can I buy a cabbage? I'm quite hungry myself as well.
You flip him a couple coins, and he tosses you a cabbage.
Alright, thank you. I've got to go.
His name is Balin.
Yeah, Balin Bearclaw.
Balin?
Balin. Balin.
Oh, yeah, I know. I see you.
Yeah, he be Balin. The mayor is a dwarf with a full white beard and a very, very flashy suit that he is wearing. He is not wearing any armor whatsoever. He does have a mace in a hook on his belt that he kind of thumbs as he's walking. Seems to be one of those, knee cracker types.
Mm-hmm. Balin. Where's Dwalin?
Huh?
Yep.
No. I'm sorry.
Fantine, I think that's a little bit...
Oh, you're talking about my cousin. Yeah, he lives over in Morag. How do you know my cousin?
Anyway, what can you tell us about these disappearances?
He begins by... Sorry, hold on a second. Shouldn't take a sip of water and talk at the same time.
Choking on it.
Yeah. Anyway, he begins by asking who the hell you are, and what credentials do you have that you actually are representatives of the king.
Did the king give us anything? I
Yeah.
guess we just have that letter.
I am Cameron Hawthorne, and I am an official envoy of the Arcanum Institute.
I'm Blazenier, a random entertainer the king picked up. Pleasure to meet you.
And I'm Edmund Coltrust, and this is, I believe, what you seek. And remember, he did have a scroll that the king gave him, and he hands it over. And the dwarf takes it and looks it over real quick. I was just basically giving you a chance to call yourselves the Debauchery Circus if you wanted to. Anyway,
Well, I guess for me and Novo, it's like, are we? Because we don't know that these people are going to stay with us yet.
yeah, this is true. I was just giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Anyway, the dwarf looks over the scroll and says, "Well, I guess this is legit." Okay. So the long and the short of it is, for the past 2 months, we've been losing livestock. Although some of the farmers say that it's been going on for more like 6. Every night, at least one farm reports missing 2, maybe 3 animals. The cows, maybe 1 a night. If it's a sheep or goats, 2, maybe 3. It's happening almost nightly this last month. And people are getting really worried because no tracks have been seen leaving the farms, and nobody has spotted anybody moving around. People have been getting more and more worried and have been still trying to keep people out there watching, but we don't have a large force. We have a small militia, and it's spread really, really thin right now. But if the townsfolk keep losing livestock like this, we're not going to be able to feed anybody once winter comes. Not to mention, it's going to be hitting us where it hurts, and he kind of pats a small bag at his waist. Now, I've offered 500 gold pieces as a reward to anybody who can deal with the problem once and for all. The latest victim is a guy named Herschel, who lives over off Flagmore Farm. He's a gnome. If you want, you can go ask him about the details if you want.
I believe we will.
I do have a question. You say there are no tracks or anything, right? Have you considered, it might be a bird? Like a giant bird, but...
Have you found any corpses?
Or feathers?
We haven't found any corpses or feathers or anything like that. You know, now that I think about it, old Penelope, the alchemist, the herbalist, I mean, she did mention the other day that she found something kind of weird. Mushrooms, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Did she say what kind of mushrooms?
Yeah, she didn't, but she lives a few houses down. You could go ask her yourself.
I think I will. I'm quite a mushroom enthusiast myself, so... Not to brag.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we've got a few leads. We will certainly do some investigating. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Just once you find out where the livestock are being taken or who's taking them, bring them back here for judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And what if it is the giant bird? We can't really bring...
Yeah, can we just, if it's a giant bird, can we kill it on site?
Yeah, oh yeah. If it's a monster or a dragon or a giant bird or whatever like that, go ahead and just kill it and bring back proof of the kill.
I have one final question, sir.
Sure.
Where can we get lodgings at an affordable price?
Oh God, that reminds me of a Twin Peaks line, but
That's
fuck,
exactly what
I can't
was.
I can't remember what the name of the inn was.
Oh crap! Let me look it up because
God.
that is exactly what I was referencing.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite series too.
I don't know. It's gonna be hard to look up. Oh, Great Northern Hotel.
That's it.
The Great Northern. That's what it is.
Okay, so the mayor leans in towards you and he says, "I can get you a good rate at the Great Northern."
And how's the coffee at the Great Northern?
Oh, one of the best.
All right, I'm looking forward to trying it.
Head on to the north. Biggest building in the town square. You'll see it.
Thank you.
Do they? I'm guessing they allow little performances to go on there, right?
I don't see why not. Might be able
Okay,
to liven up people's spirits. Everybody's pretty down in the mouth with all the livestock going missing.
That's the idea, but a lot of my performances involve fire, and I didn't want to start.
Oh, definitely don't burn down the inn.
No. I'm not a pyromaniac. It's just it's kind of my specialty. But I can also play lute. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to start.
If you're gonna do pyrotechnics, do it out in the fields or at least in the middle of town where you're not gonna burn anybody's house down.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. Like, maybe the roof was big enough. I don't know.
And Blaze, if you'd like to put on a musical performance, I think I can assist you.
Oh, what do you play?
I play a penny whistle. I'm playing a penny whistle.
Great instrument. I never wanted to learn it myself, but
Thanks, I was just drawn to it. Not really sure why.
And your mind goes back to a very pretty penny whistle player you met in an inn not too long ago. Okay. But with that, the mayor gives you thanks and tells you to be sure to let him know whenever you find something, and opens the door for you to leave.
So, I know there's always a danger to splitting the party, but seeing as we're in a town, do you think we could split in half and follow multiple leads?
God, no. No, we can't. No.
Oh, okay.
Listen,
Are
How
you
many
okay?
situations in which this will go badly would you like me to explain to you?
dude,
Let's
freaking
all just
Roper could
say
pop up
half-
out of nowhere and take me. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't have anybody go to the outskirts of town or anything.
But I do want to see this mushroom finding. I am quite a plant person. I'm not a plant person.
Are you made of plants, Blasnir? Blasnir? Whatever. Blasnir.
I mean, there's probably I'm like 7% plant at this point, I believe.
Well, you did just eat a whole cabbage.
Oh no, I ate half a cabbage.
Okay, I was gonna say for a rabbit, it feels normal. For a man, a little concerned.
Yeah, we all kind of stood there and stared as you were gnawing on this head of cabbage.
It was quite strange.
But I mean, I took the leaves off.
Wait, you took all the leaves off?
No, I took the leaves off individually, a leaf at a time. I'm not an animal. No offense, Cameron. I'm not an animal. Well, I can turn into animals.
Not an animal currently, is what you meant to say.
Currently. Yes.
And as you guys are discussing this, walking out this the dwarf's door, the mayor just kind of shakes his head a little bit, and he's like, "I have no idea who these people are," and slams the door.
Right. You just hired a group of idiots. That's all we are.
We're gonna solve this one for you, Mayor. Don't worry.
There are less than 10% of the population of the world that are as intelligent as I am. Idiot would be a misnomer.
I pat Cameron on the head.
Dude, I think you have a little bit of high self-esteem. You might need to. Anyway, yes, let's go to Mushroom Lady.
Sally forth.
She was close.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and use this for our halfway point break.
Sweet.
4:30. So everybody, stay tuned. We will be right back. Howdy, everybody. Welcome back. When we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had made their way to the town of Greenridge, where they spoke with the mayor and with a tabaxi merchant and learned a little bit about the disappearances that's been going on. The Debauchery Circus had left the mayor and made their way back into the town square where they were planning on... Who are you guys planning on meeting with first?
Penelope, I think.
Indeed.
Penelope. Okay. So you head back out to the town square, and you see the tabaxi is pretty much there's nobody around the tabaxi at this point. He is directing the two of his guards to start putting away his stock. It's been about an hour since you arrived in town, and the sun is just starting to... It's not setting yet, but it is going down. And you can tell that the day is pretty much getting towards the end.
Before that Tabaxi leaves, I want to go up to him. Well, go up to the guard that he had initiated earlier. And then I'll say to the Tabaxi, do you mind if I steal your guard for just a minute? I just want to try to question him on what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, go ahead. He's over there. And you do see the two guards are in the back at this point, moving things around back into the cart. And you approach. The guard is a human. Both of them are. This one, shorter, kind of scruffy-looking older man. What can I do for you?
I just heard that you were a first-hand witness to the robbery that had happened, that you were supposedly on duty, and I wanted to see if there's anything that you could remember.
Yeah, I was on duty that night. And I swear, I wasn't drinking or nothing.
I'll insight check that.
Yeah, insight check.
Okay, go ahead and make an insight check.
16.
22.
Okay, I'm going to do a roll, but you're not going to see the roll.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, he's definitely lying. You both can tell with your 16 and 22. His eyes are shifty. He's sweating a little bit, and he stammered when he said that he hadn't been drinking.
I put my hand on his shoulder, and I'm like, I'm not here to judge you. I just need you to be honest about what you saw. Anything, even if it seems small, something could help.
Were you going to say something too, Blazner?
Yeah, I was just going to say, truth, please. It will help us a lot.
Okay. Go ahead, make a persuasion check with advantage.
I believe you're technically better with persuasion. So.
Yeah, I have a +7.
Oh, I have a +7 as well.
Do we both make one?
Or you can both roll if you want to.
Is it still with advantage then?
Well, no, if it's either one of you roll with advantage or both of you roll. It's one or the other.
Let's both roll. I got an 18.
Natural 20 for 27.
And the guard kind of looks up at you and motions you away a little bit and walks over around the side of what you notice is a stable over here to the left. And as you all walk away, and he kind of hangs his head a little bit and he says, "Okay, yeah. The truth is I was drinking that night. I got up to go take a piss, and when I came back, the pigs were gone. I looked around, and there were no tracks. Nothing. They were just gone."
Were drunk, so.
I hit Blasnir on the arm.
He was drunk.
Not judge you. Any sounds, any smells that you maybe notice?
Come to think of it, there was, for like maybe 10 minutes before I went to go piss, I heard a kind of a rumbling sound, almost like an earthquake a little bit. But when I got up and looked around, there was nothing. Nobody else moved or nothing, so I assumed it was just my imagination.
Okay, well,
but
thank you.
If you think I missed something, you can always go back and check the camp. It's about maybe about 10 hours a walk to the north.
10 hours, he said.
Did you happen to notice any like strange mushrooms or anything? Just around?
Mushrooms.
Yeah, just you know,
Like I said, any
Can't remember the
detail,
term.
however small.
I can't remember the term, but humor me, come on.
I didn't see any mushrooms. No.
Were you
Yeah.
looking for them? Because you might have just missed them.
No, I didn't think to look for mushrooms.
Well, mushrooms grow in random places. And some are very good.
I think
And some of them are poisonous, and I'm not going to mess with that.
I mean, that's just whatever.
Go back to your benefactor. Thank you for speaking with me.
Yeah, sure, whatever. And he kind of goes back off, and you can see now that Tabaxi is staring at him. He was watching the whole time, you guys, as you walked away, and the Tabaxi kind of crosses his arms and spits one more time, but starts yelling at them to hurry up and pack up his cart.
Okay, onwards to Penelope's.
Indeed, I would like to. These mushrooms might not be anything, but
Well, I hope you'll be kinder to her than you were to that gentleman.
I wasn't unkind. Was I unkind?
You were a little unkind.
I mean, I kind of made fun of him for drinking a bit, but I get drunk sometimes. Everyone gets drunk.
Yeah, I'm just saying, maybe it's better to have a air of politeness when speaking to strangers about details you want them to give you.
A gentleman
Keep it in
does
mind.
not misspeak about others' proclivities.
At least not until you know them better.
He did lie about being drunk, though.
He did lie, but then he came true through our persuasions and not through our bullying. Anyway, let's go to Penelope's.
Listen, bullying. Okay, whatever. I don't really like this person, but
Anyway,
Keep it in mind.
so you go off in search of the herbalist, Penelope. You walk back into the middle of town and take a look around, and there at the far western side of the square, you do see a shop with a sign that reads Tanmar's Herbalist and Apothecary. You walk over it and you knock on the door, and you do see a short halfling woman with very, very pale blonde hair, who seems to be working behind a counter. When you knock on the door, she looks up, jumps down, walks over, and opens the door and says, I'm just getting ready to close down, but can I help you with anything?
we heard you had some strange mushrooms that I would like to look at. I'm probably jumping to the point a bit too fast, but
Mushrooms?
Yeah.
I
Mayor told us you found some strange mushrooms around the.
Well,
We
I
are here from the king about the missing livestock.
okay. Sure, come on in. And she opens the door and allows you all to step inside.
What building is this?
It's not on this map.
Okay.
Theater of the Mind. You open the door. She opens the door wide and allows you all to step inside, and you see a very nice but crowded little shop. Shelves full of dried herbs and I can't talk. Dried herbs and berries, tinctures, salves, all sorts of things line the shelves of this little shop. She, as you all walk in, she closes the door behind you and then goes around to the counter. And as you notice, she steps up onto a little step as she goes behind the counter, and which makes her a little bit more eye to eye with the rest of you. As she comes around behind it, she looks at you and says, "So yeah, you're all here looking for the missing livestock. And you asked about the mushroom. I did mention to the mayor the other day that I did find some really odd mushrooms out in the forest the other day. I was foraging in the forest near the hills, and I found these." And she pulls them out, and they're two odd sort of mushrooms, purple on top, but with more of a brown coloration to their gills underneath. And the stem itself is very dark brown. She holds these up and she says, "Yeah, I found these near the hills, just outside the forest. And well, the reason it's weird is because you don't normally find these out in the forest."
Are you able to identify them? Or are they something you've never seen before?
No, I've honestly never seen these before, and that's why I found it weird. And they weren't in the ground. They were. It looked like somebody had dropped them.
I'm gonna pick one up and just kind of look at it as like, I might be able to speak with it. I don't know. Can I speak with dead plants? I have a spell. I don't know if it works on something that's been picked though.
I'm going to say that no, it does not work on dead plants.
Would you mind if we these for our investigation?
Where exactly did you find them? If you didn't pick them, then I could speak with them and ask them what they're doing.
Well, she said that these they were dropped. You didn't see any growing wild.
Yeah, they weren't growing wild. I found them on the ground, like somebody dropped them. And there were some tracks through there. I saw the tracks of two people and something a lot bigger, which I couldn't quite identify.
Do I know anything about these mushrooms?
Make a nature check.
All right, I'm okay at these. I'm not good at these at all.
You have never seen them before in your life.
Do I know anything about these?
I almost go to eat it, but then wait, poisonous mushrooms exist.
I got a 17 on a nature check.
Are you proficient in nature?
Oh, no.
Then you probably wouldn't know anything about these. With a 17, I will tell you that you've never seen this type of mushroom before. You've read a little bit about mushrooms and herbalism at the Wizard College, so you know a little bit. But this is definitely not a mushroom that grows in a forest. You're not sure what it is. You're not sure where it comes from, but it's definitely not a regional mushroom.
Penelope, these tracks that you found, did they seem like human tracks, dwarven? I know you said one was much larger.
Well, there were decent-sized boots and kind of heavy. I don't know shoe size or anything like that, but they definitely were somebody wearing boots. And 2 sets.
Okay. 2 sets of heavy boots and then something larger. Did the larger thing have like a humanoid foot shape, or was it animalistic?
It was more like... She's trying to think of the best way to describe it. It was almost grooves in the dirt, like something was dragging their feet along the ground.
Don't like that.
It's really weird. That's what stood out about it.
Did you happen to see which way the tracks led, or did you say that already? I have been paying half attention because I can't pay attention. That's the player speaking, not me.
Wow.
Okay.
Who was that?
Blazenier has very good wisdom. I don't.
Yeah. She thinks that the tracks seemed like they were heading from the farms and towards the hills, towards the Green Ridge Mountains.
Do I know if this area that she's talking about is near where this like mountain pass would be, where the tabaxi was robbed?
You've never been in this region, so you really wouldn't be able to.
He told us where the camp was.
Well, okay, so yeah. Hold on 1 second. I know the best way to answer this. Let's pop out the map real quick. Show that to you. So the area that the tabaxi said, yes, it goes. The pass goes along the mountains there to the north, between the forest and the mountains, and curls up between the 2 sets through the forest and then up to North Amia. Can you see how that line goes?
Yeah.
And the woman had told you that it was the forest near the mountains, so right around that same general area. Yes.
Cool. All right. Did she say, yeah, we can take these mushrooms?
Well, you can tell without an insight check that she seems hesitant to do that because she's an herbalist herself. If you're specifically asking for them, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Maybe she'll give you one.
I think it's really important that we take as many of
Uh,
these as
I'll buy them off you for 10 gold.
especially not knowing what they do. First, I will try my persuasion check. How's a 15?
Well, between you and when Blazner says that he'll buy them for 10 gold, her eyes widen and she says, "I suppose I could let them go for 10 gold."
Okay.
Hey, only if yeah. That's sorry,
How-
Fantine. I know you're
How
trying to
many
do your
are
thing.
There,
I am
it's the two of them, and
two. Okay.
she has two on the counter, and she does say that she'll sell them for 10 gold.
I
Do you have any more of these?
Make an
And I
in,
look at her real hard.
she says no. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Oh, that's a crit.
Oh yeah, she definitely has more of them.
Penelope, I think these could be very dangerous. And it's probably best that we take them.
Going off your earlier 15 persuasion, she kind of sighs, a little defeated, and pulls out one more mushroom that she had on underneath the counter.
Yeah, and I assume with my crit insight, I know that's the last one.
Yes.
Okay, I take that one.
I put
Let
the
Blazer
10
have
gold.
the other two.
Yeah, I'll put the 10 gold on, and we take all of them.
And she she takes the 10 gold and nods and says, "I wanted to experiment with them, try to figure out what they are, but I suppose being representatives of the king, you might as well take them."
And if we identify them, I would be happy to share that information with you.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, if they're not dangerous, then we could give them back. It's just we kind of need them for investigation and stuff, and yeah.
Well, good luck with your investigation.
Thank you for all your help.
Yeah, and as you're leaving, she reminds you. Now, I did hear that there was a farm that was hit last night. If you're looking for tracks and things like that, you could always check around there.
Yes, Herschel, the gnome. I believe we will go there next.
Okay. Is that what you're doing? Heading there next?
And as we turn to leave, I just throw another 10 gold on there because I can tell you're really not wanting to let those go.
So just so you guys understand the economy, most people seeing like 10 gold is what they make in a week. Apothecaries probably make a bit more because they sell potions, but most people can't afford to buy potions, so a lot of it is just very simple herbal healing that she makes on the regular. So 20 gold made her day. And she definitely scooped that up, and it disappeared as quickly as you can blink. But you guys head out back into the center of town. Have a few ideas in your mind now of places to go. There's, as I mentioned, Herschel's farm, and there's also the Tabaxi's camp, former camp.
Mm-hmm. I think Herschel's farm first.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's not hard. You can just basically ask and find out that Herschel's farm is to the west of town a little bit. If you look at on the map, it's pretty much the exact opposite side of the farm of the village as the mountains and the trees. So it takes you probably about 45 minutes or so of walking to head out to the farm, but you do see a farm with a decent amount of cattle in in the grasslands around. This seems to be more of a cattle farm than anything else. There's a bit of corn and growing in a small pasture near there. And as you get closer, you can see a bit more a small garden of fruits and vegetables near the farm as you approach. As you guys do approach, you do see a small gnomish man out walking around in his front lawn, basically, for lack of better term. And as you approach, he does wave at you and start heading in your direction. The gnome meets you right at the edge of his farm, and he calls out, "Who are you? What can I do for you?"
We are emissaries from the king. Hear about the disappearing livestock.
And as he walks up, you see him. He's an older man with very, very thick glasses. His hair is white, and he has a bit of a small beard on his chin, but nothing on his face. You estimate probably a good 150 or so years old. And as he walks up to you and takes a look at the credentials that Edmund has, you see an elderly human woman stepping out from the house behind him. Okay, all right. You're here investigating the livestock. Well, last night the bastards hit me and took one of my cows.
Yes, that's why we are here, to investigate the scene of the crime, see if we can find tracks or other information that would prove useful to our investigation.
Yeah, we're currently in the information gathering stage of our investigation.
Oh, I was hoping you already found him, but sure. We can take you out there. You're wanting to see the okay.
Place where it happened.
Sure. He leads you out around his house, and as you get closer, you hear the human woman call out, "Herschel, who are these?" And he yells back, "It's nothing, dear. These are people from the king investigating all the missing animals. Just go back in the house." He wanders around. As you walk around the building, which you do see, there's also a small pen of pigs near the house itself. The pasture for the cows is a little further out. I'm sure you've all seen farms before or watched shows where they have cows, and the pastures tend to be rather large. He does lead you out there, and in it you can see two more humans working the back fence. He walks you towards them, and he points to the fence that these two men are. These are two men, probably early 20s, maybe, who appear to be just farm hands who are mending the fence. And he tells you, "Yeah, this is where they broke down the fence itself." And he kicks at a little groove in the ground nearby, and he points to it and says, "Dug straight on through and broke the fence there."
They dug under the fence and then just broke the fence above it, or just the fence is broken?
You could see where the wooden fence was smashed inward, and underneath it, where the men are currently trying to put up a new fence, that's what they're doing. It seems like there was a cut through the earth, about maybe a 1 foot wide space, and then a little bit away, another 1 foot wide space. Kicked, almost like if someone took a really small backhoe and just dug a fissure.
Okay.
That's kind of what it looks like.
Can I do an investigation check on the grooves in the dirt to see if I can determine what made this?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Would you like me to assist?
Sure.
Yes,
I got
you don't
20.
need to.
I was gonna assist
But you
him.
can investigate on your own if you like.
Sure. 26.
Oh, yeah. We see everything.
Oh yeah,
Well,
you
crap,
definitely
I didn't
do.
mean to do it twice. But...
It's okay. As you're
I don't do double click.
as you're looking around, it's hard to judge what did this. It's almost as if a giant foot just kicked a large groove through the mud, but none of this is mud. Does that make sense? Like, imagine you put your toe in some mud and just drug a line. That's kind of what it looks like, but much bigger. And then it goes through the ground underneath the fence, and it looks like the fence has been broken, quite literally smashed through. You're all walking around and peering, and you are very, very thorough. You do see small footprints in the ground. You estimate maybe around 11 to 12 inches wide or so. Definitely more of a man's boot print that takes a few, maybe about 15, 20 steps into the pasture. You can see scuff marks of hooves in the dirt, and then dragging these hooves back towards the fence. At the fence itself, the drag marks disappear completely, and you can see more grooves and more footprints leading to the north, away from the farm.
What kind of check would you need to make to identify what sort of creature could make grooves like that with the fence?
I'm trying to think of what would make most sense for you, Cameron. Honestly, I'm just going to, with your investigation, you know that there aren't any animals or anything that is natural in the wild that could make footprints or strides almost like that.
Okay.
I would like to expend a use of my wand of detect magic.
Okay.
See if there's any magic in the area, and look at the mushrooms as well.
The mushrooms are not magical. When you cast your detect the magic spell off the wand, Edmund, Hawthorne, Cameron, and Blazenir all light up. They all have magical items on them. There is the farmer does not, and anything else within 30 feet, you do not detect any magic.
Okay, well, I'll just keep it going for the full length of 10 minutes as we... Well, I would like to follow these footprints if nobody else...
I have a question, actually.
Sure.
If I were to turn into a cow, could I speak to other cows?
No.
Okay, because I don't have speak with animals prepared. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn into a cow and you can moo, but that doesn't mean that the cow understands what the intent you're making.
Alright, I'm trying very hard to just kind of sit there and like, hey, guys, listen, I don't have my spell prepared I need, but maybe, just kind of, I don't know, mime it out.
Well, we can always come back in the morning.
We could.
What?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I feel I'm annoyed with myself because I didn't prepare this, and I knew that we're going to be, around animals, and yet I didn't prepare my spell, and I should just keep this prepared.
I also think that you should save that turning into a cow in your back pocket in case we need someone to act as bait.
That could work. Yeah.
I think it's genius.
I didn't really want to turn into a cow anyway. I just thought maybe it could help. My friend likes to come out. I would like to, at least have my friend be able to come out eventually. But, yeah. These cows are not being very helpful.
So, Herschel, the gnome, and the two farmhands that were standing there watching you guys investigate, Herschel comes walking back up to you and he says, well, there it is. You can see somebody made off with my cow.
Yes.
Did you follow this set of prints? You said there was that's leading another way. It disappears at the gate.
And Herschel, as I remind you, wears very thick glasses. He kind of adjusts them and he says, I didn't follow him. I saw what happened and I told my boys to start fixing the fence, but I'm not a warrior.
That's fair. We will do that now.
Perfectly understood.
You didn't happen to see anything weird go on that night, did you? Or even during the day, maybe someone, walking around scouting the area or anything. Thieves usually like to do that.
Did you hear anything strange?
Well,
Did you hear anything as well?
I didn't hear anything that night. Me and the missus sleep pretty soundly. The The boys did say that they chased away Reggie from my barn that night.
Reggie.
He's the local drunk.
Yeah.
Asshole was found sleeping one off in my barn, and the boys chased him away. But he was there that night.
Do you know, does Reggie have a place of residence? Or, dude, my voice is getting a bit British.
That's my job.
Yeah, he sleeps wherever he can. If he ain't drinking in the inn, he's finding any hole to sleep in. He doesn't have a house of his own. Used to try to give him work every now and again, but I find him trying to steal from me. Don't let him him on my farm at all.
Did your boys happen to say if they heard anything that night?
One of the young men does raise his hand and said, I did hear a crash last night that woke me up. And I did hear the cows mooing a little bit, but by the time I got out there, all I found was the hole in the fence.
So the thieves are speedy then, or invisible maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that it would be useful to get a more bird's eye view?
I don't know, do you? I have no way to tell you what you feel, buddy.
Fuck it. I'm gonna cast a spell.
Go for it. What are you casting?
I'm gonna cast fly on myself.
You have a bird companion, can't you not look through his eyes?
He wants to fly. Let the man fly.
Well, I mean, just expending a spell doesn't really seem that useful, and I'm probably metagaming gaming here, but...
Do you know how many spell slots I have now? A lot.
A lot more than a warlock, at least.
Do you know how many I had as a warlock? Practically none.
You know what? You do you. I could also polymorph myself, but I'm not gonna do that. So
I'm gonna cast fly.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna fly up and look at the crime scene, as it were, from overhead.
Okay. So you cast fly, and you begin to rise up and go levitating yourself up over the fence, and look down. And your bird is kind of flittering there next to you. You can see the grooves in various places, and it does look like long strides every 10 to 15 or so feet. They do seem to be going towards the north. How far are you planning? Do you want to just follow them while flying, or?
Yeah, I have its concentration up to 10 minutes, so as long as I've got enough time to make sure that I get back to the ground, that's all I really care about.
So you follow it for about 5 minutes or so, and it does continue on north, but the farther north that you go, and you're not going very far, you're only going 5 minutes, the shallower the grooves become. Almost as if you're having a harder time see them, but you can follow them for a bit, and they do continue north for a little ways. You turn around and head back to the farm and land once again, and you can let them know what you found. But they do go for quite a ways. The higher you get, the harder it is to see the boot prints, but the grooves are a bit easier to follow.
Okay, do I know of any particular reason why the grooves would have gotten less easy to see? Did the terrain change, or?
Yeah, the closer you are to a farm, the more it's been traveled upon, so the more broken up and easy it is, especially around a cow pasture. The farther away you get, the more dense and hard it gets, so it's reasonable to assume that the ground is getting harder the further north it goes.
I was able to follow the large grooves for quite some time. They are about 10 to 15 feet apart, but fairly well patterned. They did, however, eventually become more difficult to find, though that may
have been following along on the ground.
Simply be due to the ground getting harder as I moved further away from the farm.
Do these grooves look like footprints or anything, or are they just kind of slices like something was dragged in these grooves. This might have been said before, but again, players not very,
Yes, it looks like, imagine if somebody was skiing 1 foot than the other than the other. You're seeing that kind of pattern.
Okay.
So it might possibly be something that is very large, as you would normally see footprints of something that is, say, medium or small-sized grouped closely together simply because of how small we are, but something that is much larger would potentially have a large difference in between their left and right foot imprints.
I believe we all understand how footprints work. Not to, be aggressive about it, but
But it's very smart. So,
yes, he is very smart. He's a well-read fellow, but
So, can we have been following along on the ground because we were going to follow the footprints?
Are you going to follow the footprints?
That's
Okay.
what I suggested, unless we just want to go off of Cameron's bird's eye view.
Yeah, yeah. How long are we gonna follow the footprints for? Because I would like to talk to the cows eventually.
How?
Maybe, I mean tomorrow, obviously, but like,
So, I mean,
I don't.
follow them until we. I mean, I guess it depends on how far they go.
They probably go quite far.
I followed them for a good 5 minutes, and they were simply becoming harder to see, but that does not necessarily mean that they disappeared.
Well,
basically,
I, for one, could devote more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically, it was harder to track them, but that doesn't mean that they just suddenly like flew off or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to, you can just follow the tracks north. My question is, how much are you planning on following them to the end of their trail, however long it takes? Are you going to go for a specific amount of time and head back to town?
What time in the evening is it?
It's probably right now. It's well past dusk. The sun is still in the sky, but it's probably around 6:30 around about. So in another hour and a half, it is going to be fully dark.
I would say we should just follow in the morning. We don't want to end up running into something at night.
I mean, I for one am not hurt or devoid of spell slots. I could see following it for at least a couple hours, and then.
I would also assume that fresh tracks would be a bit easier to follow, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want.
Most definitely.
I wouldn't
so.
Want to overnight.
I will follow you guys, obviously, but
I'm obviously not going to follow it for 8 hours, but a couple hours into the night.
Okay.
Also,
yeah.
I do not see very well at night. I do not see very well at nighttime. I mean,
thing. It's called a torch.
Once it gets dark,
I have torches. It's just I don't. That's
I have
limited.
Something a bit more useful, perhaps, than a simple torch.
I also have I light my hand on fire, but it's not anyway.
Okay.
Once
yeah.
It
so
gets dark, I'll turn on my globe.
Okay. So you
near me.
you guys all agree to begin following the trail north. Each of you go ahead and give me a survival check. This is going to be a group check to try to follow these footprints, this trail of footprints and gouges.
Ooh, what if that was actually a 10?
What if it was? Are you using it?
It is. So it's actually a 12.
It's now a 12. Okay.
18.
Ooh. Big 5.
Okay, so yeah.
It is a group, so you don't have to waste it on this if you don't want to.
Yeah. Are you going to or no?
No.
Okay. So the rolls then are 13 from Novo, A 12 from Fantine, a 18 from Blaznier, and a 5 for Hawthorne. So that's
And Edmund.
oh,
roll
and
us
Edmund. I always forget to roll Edmund. Let me do
You
that real
got this,
quick.
man. You've got this.
And he's an 11, which is decent. So it's 3 successes and 2 failures. But the successes outweigh the failures. And for about it, you continue to travel north for another hour following this trail. If you guys look on the map, I'm going to show this to those who are watching. And basically, the farm was right here, where my mouse is. Right. The group followed the trail to the north, keeping a relative decent eye looking for these tracks. Cameron is more of a hindrance than a help. Edmund doesn't help all that much either, but fortunately, Blaznier is a druid and knows the land very, very well. And they do continue to follow it for another hour and a half total. And as the sun has now fully set and it is dark, you do stop for that moment and look around, and you can see that the village is to the south of you. And following the trail of the footprints, you do see that they are heading into the Green Ridge Mountains. You can choose to either continue and follow the trail in the evening, or you can head back to town. Town is maybe about 600-700 feet away at this point, and you can hear. You mostly can just hear the sound of livestock at this point at night. But are you guys going to continue on into the hills at night, or are you going to be heading back to Greenridge?
If you wish to continue, I do have a method of lighting our path.
You know, some species of large bird like to hang around in mountains. I really hope it's a large bird. I like birds.
Honestly, I'm not hurting in any way. I'm fine to for a little bit of risk.
Well, I would like to talk to that drunk as well.
He's probably drunk by now.
Didn't we just
Well,
talk to him?
Well, no, we didn't talk to the drunk.
Oh, this is a different one.
Yeah, the drunk might have. I probably didn't see anything, honestly.
Yeah,
It's probably a lost cause, but you know, just in case.
It seems like our options are head into the hills and possibly camp out for the night, in the hopes of catching our culprit or at least finding more information, or go back to the inn and go to sleep.
Yes.
But I'm not hurt in any way. I see no reason to waste time and go have a nap.
We can continue.
I would vote for, going to inn. But
Novo, what do you think?
Well, perhaps we can continue, and maybe when we camp, set up a little bit of a trap and have our druid friend turn into a cow for a little bit.
That's not gonna probably work, honestly. They're probably targeting farms specifically because there's a lot more there.
Got robbed on the trail.
Oh yeah, well. I don't think one cow is going to be tempting, but I could. It lasts for 3 hours though, so.
In either case, so I'll pull out a small sphere of glass and speak a word, and it'll start emanating light, and I'll say something else, and it'll float near me.
Okay. So let me do something here real quick. How much does that give you? 30 feet?
It is the light or daylight spell, so 20-foot radius, and then dim light for an additional 20 feet.
So there you go. Now there's some bright... Cameron has bright light around him.
I'll also light up my hands just to give myself a bit more light.
How much does your light give you?
That's what I'm about to check. 10 foot of dim light, or 10 foot bright light, 10 foot dim.
There you go.
Alright, this doesn't do much, but you have a nice globe, I've got to say.
Thank you.
Okay. So you turn and head your direction towards the Green Ridge Mountains, following along this trail. Go ahead and make survival checks, all of you, as you continue to track these tracks.
Don't wing it with that one.
Whew. Okay. So,
Let's go ahead and burn that inspiration point to reroll.
okay.
A 12.
A little bit better. Okay, so 10 from Fantine, a 19 for Novo, a 7 for Blazeneer, a 18 for Edmund, and a 12 for Cameron. Okay, so that is 3 successes. You continue to follow the trail into the hills, and as you enter the hills and begin going through between I mean, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe these. Um, the hills of Italy, honestly. You kind of have to weave your way around a little bit, rising up into the elevation a little bit as you go, following this trail. Now, the first thing that I'm going to let you know is Edmund sees this first as he's going through the trail, is that the grooves stop about a mile and a half in through the hills. He's able to pick out signs of hoof prints about maybe another 50, 60 feet beyond that. And you guys kind of realize that now the things that you're following are just faint scuff marks from boots and scuff marks from hooves as you continue on following this trail.
They might be doing some sort of enlarging spell.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yes.
maybe changing their form or something. This is quite strange. And I'm still hoping for a giant bird.
Or maybe a giant horse.
Oh, that would be...
I could see that making the scoop.
That probably could. Would a giant horse make those kind of scuff marks?
Check.
You can make a nature check. Go for it.
19.
Definitely not a giant bird.
What about a
Well, I was
giant
saying a giant horse.
A giant horse?
Yeah.
No. Horses have hooves, and you're familiar with the way they walk. They don't drag their feet.
Mm-hmm.
With the 19 nature, it's almost like something's dragging their feet and making these long gouges as it strides.
What kind of creature would do that? Certainly not some animal.
I'm thinking perhaps something undead. Zombie.
I do not like undead. Those... I'm not scared of undead. I'm just, I like, not very kind creatures.
I'm not a fan of them either.
Except when you're wanting to create them. Ho!
Indeed. That you weren't present for. This is my secret to myself between me and Novo.
I have a passive 18 insight, so,
Well, it wasn't even technically brought up in conversation, so...
I'm just kind of bouncing around maps for effect. But you guys do continue to follow this trail for another hour or so through the hills. And eventually you get to a point where you see they're starting to follow a little bit of a path that leads up along one of the larger hills in the area.
Path. Does this seem like a well-worn path?
Relatively speaking, yeah. You are now that you guys are getting into the hills themselves, you are starting to see more paths and more very old, heavily trodden trails that lead around and through up the larger mountains.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get the idea. I mean, this was a very heavily mined area, and as you walk, your light kind of gleams off different things, and you can see like caves here and there throughout the mountains.
And we can still see the tracks that we're following.
It's becoming more difficult at this point. I'm probably going to have you go ahead and make another survival check if you're going to continue to follow.
I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna suggest to Cameron, maybe we should lower our light and or go just by Blazen's 10-foot light so that we don't give ourselves away, just in case.
That would
Uh,
inhibit our following ability.
That would greatly inhibit just my
Oh.
ability in general.
21 on
We're
survival.
not stealth at all.
Do we need to be stealthy?
Well, I was just saying, just in case we are walking up on them, whoever they are.
Oh, I'm not very good at survival, but I mean,
That crit's coming back. I'll use my inspiration, whatever. Here's a 4.
Oof.
Hey, would you guys like a
For me.
4? Here's a
Hey,
4
at
for you.
least me and Novo got over a 20
Yeah.
each.
Yeah, the DC is getting higher at this point, but that is 3 successes and 2 failures. So, unfortunately, Fantine and Blazenir are not helping very much. Edmund has taken levels in Ranger, and Novo is very just intelligent and skilled, and so apparently is
I wouldn't say I'm very intelligent.
well, you're very skilled at least. And Cameron is very intelligent, and all of you do manage to keep the trail as you follow it, going up into the hill mountain.
Can I also be kind of stealthy too, just to?
Well, I will
Or is
point
it not
out that
necessary?
that you guys have a glowing ball of light floating along next to you, and Blazenir's hand is lit up like a torch. He just has a ball of fire in his hand. So, how are you being stealthy?
I can, I can put down the light if I must, but it's just kind of helpful so I can. I'm human, by the way. You know, I can't.
Blazenir, you can hold my hand if you like.
Well, I never declined that, but
I hold hands with Blazenir.
And this skinny witchy elf girl takes the hand of the big tall human and burns her hand.
well, I would put down my light with that hand. Thank you, Fantine. That's quite kind.
So, are you turning off your lights?
I'm gonna still keep the other hand lit. But
Okay.
Should we
I am
be
not
stealthy?
turning off my lights.
I think it's wise, but if you guys really don't want to, ain't nothing I can do about it.
It's more of a we can't see anything without them. Like, I understand your whole. I mean, I could turn into something that has dark vision for a little bit. However, it's not gonna be, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think even if we just reduced the light to just be Blazenir's,
It's still a glowing light in a dark forest. It's
Ormr could scout ahead 20 feet instead of 40 feet away or however much we've got here, and we could still see her, and she.
We have no idea what we're dealing with yet.
There's also the problem that we would have to put back up the lights if we did get into battle. Otherwise, I'd be useless from,
I just said to
most places. Again, you guys do whatever. I just, I'm quite useless without my sight. Also, most of my spells will cause, like, if we do get in a fight, most of my spells will cause people to come running anyway. So
Yes, but at least if we get into a fight, we'll have a round where they don't know that we're there. We pop out, or we avoid a fight because we didn't have a big glowing light that they saw. Or Novo, do you want to be stealthy? It's up to you.
I mean, I guess so that we can. I don't know.
Okay, sounds like we're just gonna keep our lights and not. be
Yeah, let's
stealthy,
just keep the
so
lights on. Yeah.
Yep.
it's better
that
to
way-
just.
I do. If I did have the spell prepared, I could give
I like how
give.
we'll place the hand.
But if I did have the spell prepared, I could give me and Cameron here a dark vision for a bit. But I don't have that spell prepared. So
Thank you for that.
listen, I wasn't
Okay, let's just
expecting
move
to
along.
go trekking into forest. All right, I would have prepared it if I knew. But
It's fine.
no, I know. I'm just apologizing profusely.
Okay, Tergot.
I'm not Tergot. I'm Blazner, actually.
Right. I forgot for a
Coming
second.
off very Tergot.
Anyway, you guys continue on through the hills, winding your way along a steep and slightly narrow path, but you do continue on for around another hour, following this path through the hills and up the not quite mountain. I don't like to use the word mountain because they really aren't that big, but big enough that you guys are kind of starting to get tired. It's around 10 o'clock at this point, I would say. And you guys are continuing to follow the trail, but you are starting to get tired from the climb. What were you about to ask?
Are we in the general area of the pass, or where she said she found those mushrooms?
You're a bit more north than that at this point. You went into the path that you followed didn't take you into the path. It just kind of hooked and led straight into the hills itself. And that's where you guys have been walking for about 3 hours now.
Okay. Well, it seems like these just keep going.
They do
I
keep going
think
for quite a while.
It's probably time to camp for the evening.
It's fine by me.
So you're setting up camp in the hills still?
I guess so.
I mean, you can't keep going. I'm just trying to give you a good approximate of time, but you can keep going for as long as you want.
If
Say,
we
once we find a a place that looks like it'd be easily defendable.
I can also ask the plants around here if they've seen anything strange. Maybe some type of people passing through. I did prepare that.
Sure, why don't you do that?
I don't know how useful it is. Plants don't usually perceive
Well,
much.
will only find out if you do it.
Okay, I'm gonna kneel down to some brush, kind of near the little path marks, the footprints. I'm gonna cast Speak with Plants.
Okay. You cast Speak with Plants, and there is a bush nearby. There's plenty of brush nearby that you could go talk to. What are you asking specifically?
Howdy, hello. I'm Blazner, druid, from far away. Have you guys maybe seen people lugging around some livestock through this pathway here? We're trying to find them, and they've been causing some problems for the locals.
The plant responds, "There's been lots of livestock coming through here. What are our plants every so often?"
Oh yes, I can see that through the, the footprints here. That's quite horrible. Now, have you seen like what they look like? Do they look just humanoid, or is there something strange about them?
They come through shorter than you. Bigger than others. Usually 2, 3, 4. Sometimes something big comes with them. Big and rocky, like the earth.
Rocky. This rocky thing. It walks. Yes. It doesn't like float around. I don't know why I'm asking this. It could help though.
Pretty big, doesn't it walks on 2 feet.
I'm assuming you wouldn't know anything about what that is though.
Only see it with them. Round things, round people, big.
Round people.
Dwarves.
Like portly, maybe. Would you say?
Kinda.
Are you describing all this to us?
I mean, you can. Oh, I don't think.
Yeah,
you
can only hear your side of it, Blazner. So they're hearing a one-sided conversation, and maybe those with a really high passive perception can see like the leaves of the shrub moving a little bit.
Yes, I would be describing it if you.
Okay.
Not really.
Arcana check on the rocky thing.
Certainly.
28. Natural 20.
You do recall reading your many books in the Arcanum of types of creatures that can be summoned from elemental spirits, including, say, an earth elemental.
Sounds like an earth elemental. Something they summoned.
Sounds like dwarves are our culprit here.
They did say it, are dwarves usually rotund? I haven't encountered very many, but.
And they wear big heavy boots and are shorter than the average.
So, do you think the
Fairly off
miners?
strength.
Do you think the miners could have had something to do with the disappearance of the whatever?
Starting to seem likely.
Possibly, yes.
Have you noticed anything else strange, Mr. Shrub?
You're strange. Everything's strange. Oh, I wasn't holding it. It says, "You're strange. Everything's strange."
Well, I mean, you're talking plant right now, so of course, you know. Well, they can't hear you, apparently. It's nice to have such a conversation with. Anyway,
Never talked to anyone before.
how does it feel? Nice? Like.
It's interesting. You're weird.
I know. I'm very weird.
It's a judgmental plant. You're weird. You've got thorns.
Well, actually, he doesn't have thorns at all. Do you know of any really good campsites around here? Maybe something a little hidden, something where we can jump out at anybody that we need to.
There's I don't know. This is nice. We've only been here.
This is nice. Well, I mean, you have only been here, I guess. You're not one of those plants that sprout up other places and have an intertwined root system.
No, I'm a shrub.
You are a shrub.
Shrubbery.
Would you like me to bring a leaf with me wherever I go? I could do that if you like. I don't know. That'd probably hurt you, though.
You can take a leaf if you want.
I'll take a leaf.
Consent is good.
So painful. You're killing me.
Then you pluck a leaf off of it, and it kind of shakes itself and just sits there, being a shrub.
Thanks, shrub. Thank you, shrub.
She says thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
He says you're welcome. This is a strange encounter.
Alright.
The fun of being a druid.
I guess let's try to find a cave then.
They said there's a this might be a nice place to, camp out.
I think they're a little biased.
Well, I mean, everything's biased if you think about it like that. Why
Yeah.
find a cave? They might be into caves.
Okay, let's camp out in the middle of the path, everyone.
Well, I mean, not right here, obviously, but it's just not in a cave either.
Okay.
So you're wanting to look for a good place to camp? Yes? Or
Are we?
Or are
Right.
you camping right here? It's entirely up to you.
Let's look for a good place to camp.
Okay. Go ahead and give me one of you, whoever can do it the best, give me a survival check with advantage as you're looking for a campsite.
That would not be me. My wisdom is 14 and I do not have proficiency.
Oh, what's going on?
Somebody in our group needs to make a survival check with advantage to find us a campsite.
Oh,
I've got
Whoever
+4.
is the best.
I've got good wisdom. I'm not proficient though.
So
but-
you've got +4. Anybody beat a +4?
I do. 5. I
Go
probably.
for it.
Roll it then.
Natural 20 for 25.
Damn.
Okay.
Our campsite somehow has a hot tub.
Yeah. So
It's just an inn.
you follow the trail, which continues to go northward for a bit around a bend, and you do find around a bend a nice kind of cylindrical shaped crevasse in the side of the hill. You're looking at it, and the path continues onward for another 50 or so feet before it curves around the side of the mountain. And as you're looking at this, you're like, this could be a decent campsite. It's pretty nice and out of the way, and big enough for the 5 of us to sleep.
But this is a nice campsite if I don't say so myself. Do say so? Don't say so. Which one is it?
Do say so.
Do say so. If I do say so myself.
say so.
Sorry. Thank you, Cameron. I'm not very good with language, apparently. So yeah, this is a nice place. If you want to.
I
set up
agree,
here.
Anna. Blazner is adorable.
Seems as good as any.
Yep.
I put up my tent.
Now, I will say I'm a pretty okay cook, so I can cook for you guys if for breakfast, or dinner right now, if you guys want some dinner.
If you like.
I do like to cook. I don't have a cooker's kick because I took a skill proficiency or something else, but
He's like, I'm not proficient in cooking. Hey guys, I'm a really good cook.
that was going to be my whole thing, and now it's not.
You can be good at cooking. I don't think there's a proficiency for it.
There's a tool proficiency for it, but
He's good at cooking, but he's not good at cooking with a cast iron.
yeah, no.
He's not so you're not a master chef, but you're good enough to barbecue over a fire.
Yeah.
And so all of you sit down and somebody starts up a fire, which for Blazner is very easy. And
I'm instantly just.
And Edmund begins setting up. He has a little pup tent as well, and he sets up his camp and near the fire. And he comes over to you while you're preparing, and he says, "I do have a bit of provisions if you need anything. I have some dried beef and some vegetables."
Oh, of course. I was thinking of using this half a cabbage as well. Maybe make some sort of salad or something. But yeah, dried beef and vegetables would be nice.
Matt.
Yes.
One thing that I want to do while he's cooking is, since we're in like mountainous terrain, I'm going to investigate the like mountains or like stone near our campsite, because we're dealing with dwarves who are miners and possibly have the ability to summon earth elementals, which means that they could very easily have like passages or something around here.
I like it. Go ahead and make an investigation check while Blazner is making dinner and everyone's kind of getting themselves ready. And while you're doing that, Novo, what are you up to?
12.
Actually, go ahead and make your roll with advantage, Cameron.
Cool.
I mean,
Well, that's an 11. It was a great idea. The dice just didn't want to comply.
Yeah, I like the idea. What were you doing, Novo?
I mean, I'd probably just kind of scout around a little bit, just make sure there's nothing in the general vicinity that we need to worry about.
Okay, you're scouting around. Would you say that's a survival check or an investigation check?
I mean, I would say survival.
I'll allow you to make a survival check.
That'd be a 20.
Well, it's a good thing that she did. Cameron has been walking around, feeling around the walls of the side of the mountain, and is getting nowhere. And he's kind of getting frustrated, and he wanders off to sit down by the fire. Novo, she sees this, and she's been kind of investigating the camp as well, looking at the trail, and the footprints that you guys have followed does curve off into this area. And as she's following them, she notices they kind of stop a little ways inward here. And she's looking around and she doesn't seem to see them. But then she notices what Cameron was doing. And she looks around the walls as well. And with a 20, you do see a small seam in one wall that seems out of place. And you kind of look closer and you put on your night vision goggles and blow a little bit. And you do see the small curve of what appears to be a door, almost perfect in the wall. But you can just see a little bit of that seam to let you know that it's there.
Knew it.
Okay, I'm gonna get Cameron's attention. Like, hey, look over here.
Okay, I'll come over and take a look.
And it is just a little bit to the side, away from the camp, and you kind of walk around to it and examine it as well. And when she points it out, you are able to see that.
Good. They most likely used this to continue moving.
So we should definitely keep eyes on that area.
Yes.
Always.
I think I could make that area around there like difficult to move in if you want me to. Although that's quite a radius effect that does.
For how long?
Ever. It will just it plants. It's a spell. I can make plants grow. I don't think I can dismiss it.
Yeah. What if we want to move through it?
I
think we should the camp to be out of sight of that, so that we can see that, but somebody coming out of the door wouldn't immediately see our campsite.
If I had another spell prepared, I could make it sharp, but only for 10 minutes.
All the spells that you don't currently have right now.
Well, yeah, I know. It's like I'm thinking of everything. I had my town spells
Save
prepared.
it for when you have that spell and you're like, oh, I want to bust out this cool spell.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
but
good idea. But it is 6 o'clock, so I think this is a great place to end things for this evening. You did, and I'm just going to say that the seam of the door, it's not in your camp area, it's just outside of it.
Okay, can I do one thing since everybody got something? Can I do an investigation on these mushrooms? Because otherwise I'm going to totally forget before next week.
That's not an investigation. An investigation just tell you what's there. I assume what you're trying to do is identify them. That would be a nature check.
Okay, I'm terrible at it, but I will do it. 18.
18, that's actually a pretty good. You've read a little bit about mushrooms, and you're thinking back, and you're trying to remember, and a book you read as a child talks about different types of mushrooms, and this is a mushroom that exists in the Underdark.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can say because my family was herbalists.
Yeah, and they are elves, and there is a race of elves that stayed in the Underdark and did not come out after the calamity that did remain there. So you do have some knowledge of these creatures and what they are, and you do recognize that these are mushrooms that come from the Underdark.
Miss Fantine, are they edible? I can put them in the salad.
With my 18, do I know if they're edible?
They are definitely edible. They're actually a mushroom that when you eat them, it causes rapid healing in the body.
Oh,
Maybe I don't put them in the
Well, and
I believe.
technically, every mushroom is edible at least once.
Well, you've got 2 of them, so you can feel free to use those
So-
however you wish.
Well,
So,
Yeah, I just-
Fantine, what is the name of these mushrooms?
These you said they're purple on top?
They are, yep, they're purple on top, the
And,
gills and the stem is brown, and they come from the Underdark, and you can name it. So what do you call them?
Oh, jeez. These are. They're healing mushrooms? Nope. Not gonna go with that suggestion that you just sent me. Let's call them. I'm stalling for time. Let me think about it.
Okay, that's what they're called, the Let Me Think About It mushroom.
Oh no, they're called ooh, it's gonna be an ironic name. They're called Dark Death Mushrooms.
Sure, Dark Death mushrooms. Go ahead and put in your inventory that you currently have 3 Dark Death mushrooms.
Well, I've got 1, and Blasnir has 2.
Sure, whatever.
They're called dark death mushrooms, but they heal you.
Oh yes,
Uh-huh.
It's quite ironic.
And they do 1d8 of healing.
Okay.
I don't understand why, but you know, it's quite nice, I guess.
Well, I didn't name them.
If anyone else wants these healing mushrooms, I am quite good at healing, but you know, I don't need them.
I'll take one.
Alright, here's one. Anyone else?
I'll hold on to one.
There you go.
I think we should give one back to Penelope.
No, they're called dark death mushrooms. She doesn't want them.
Okay. Whatever you say, Blake.
Well, that's a good place to end things for this evening. So, thanks to everybody for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Come join us again next Monday for finding out what the Debauchery Circus are going to find behind this almost invisible but not quite door. Have a good evening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Good night.